So this right here is the Tritronics. It's Pro 100. Okay, and this is the receiver. What I like about Tritronics is the stimulation levels are very simple. It's 1 through 6. And you could actually do this in one hand, so you don't actually have to get your hands off, get your eyes off the dog. It is a good idea, obviously, to keep an eye on your levels, but very easy to operate. Low, medium, together they're high, and these are continuous. This is a nick high and has a beeper action to it. The one thing I don't like about this particular collar, this particular model, is that it has a pretty big controller. To me, that's kind of a disadvantage because it's just kind of annoying, I think, to have a huge controller. The upside is that it's very easy to use, very user friendly, and the stimulation is very clear and consistent on the dog. What I like about Dogtra, the controllers are very small. This particular model has a pager, vibration button, continuous, and a nick button. The only thing I don't like about a lot of the Dogtra collars is that they have over 100 levels. 127, this one right here. So what I don't like about that is when you are training and you have to adjust your levels to each particular dog or to each particular scenario, you pretty much have to get your eyes off the dog and kind of stop what you're doing in a way, and you have to look at the screen to adjust the micro, the levels, which are so small. So that's one disadvantage of this particular collar. And now some collars only have 100 levels, and they have the dial, the thumb dial, which are easier, and that is Dogtra. They do also have a couple of those collars like that, but that's just the one thing I don't like about a lot of the Dogtra collars. They have a lot of levels, which is a good, it's a benefit, it's a good thing when it comes to giving your dogs a different range of stimulation. It's really good for that. But it's just kind of a little disadvantage. At least to me, it's a disadvantage that I kind of don't really, not a big fan of that. Again, the good thing is the remote's very small. It's not huge. It's not like holding a TV controller. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the SportDog brand. This particular model is 425. This brand is one of my favorites. Few reasons why. First of all, the controller is very small and very lightweight, very ergonomic, and it's really easy to handle. It's pretty small, but it's kind of discreet, and I can fit it in my pocket. It's very lightweight, so that even if I hang it on my neck, it's not gonna swing back and forth and just hit me in the face when I'm jogging or whatever. So it's kind of it's a really nice controller. The other reason I like this particular brand and this particular model, to be specific, also, is that the dial is, right here, right at the touch of my thumb. Whereas some models, some brands, I have to use two hands. I have to have one hand adjusting, the intensity of the dial, and then I have to also look, because some models have they have like 100 levels or over 100 levels, and so I'm having to adjust the mic. I have to adjust the little adjustments in order to go from situation to situation. So from here, if I'm in a low distraction scenario, I'm on my low level settings. If I find myself in a high distraction scenario, then I can adjust immediately without having to take my eyes or my focus away from my dog. So that's one of the reasons why this is one of my favorites. One thing that I love about this brand altogether is that I can adjust the controller to train it in my own style, I can customize the buttons pretty much. So even though right now I'm on vibration and tone, okay, so this will give me the tone and this will give me vibration. Well, then I can't really use the stimulation, right, unless I switch the stimulation. But I actually can, because see, I'm going to go to a different mode. So mode 2 will allow me to use the vibration and stimulation at the same time without using the tone. So I'm just going to switch the modes real quick. So now I have vibration and stimulation. Okay, so in other words, I don't have to turn the dial to vibration anymore. I can be on stimulation level 1, so these two, continuous and momentary, and I can have vibration all in the same controller without having to switch back and forth. So that's one of the great things about this particular collar. I guess the only disadvantage about this brand altogether is the jumps from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 can be pretty dramatic for certain dogs. In other words, level 1 may be just enough for this particular dog, but then if I wanted to go to level 2 might be a little too much for him because it jumps from 1 to 2. So you don't have much of a transition between 1 and 2. There is no 1.5, It's just 1 is low, but if maybe 1 doesn't cut it for that dog and you switch it to 2, you may find out that level 2 may be a little too high. So there is no easy transition into level 2. That's kind of the one disadvantage about this particular brand. I would say, with the other brands, some specific models you have 100 different stimulation levels, which basically means you can go from 1 to, it's gradual, very, very gradual. So if your dog doesn't feel the low setting, you can very, very gradually go to a higher setting. With this, you kind of jump from 1 to 2 to 3, and that for certain scenarios, certain dogs may be a little bit of a disadvantage. However, to counter that, this receiver, as is the case with most models in this brand, you can adjust this to a mild dog, to a medium dog, to a stubborn dog. So when you buy this and you open it right out of the box, this comes with a factory setting at a medium intensity dog. So meaning level 1 will feel a certain way. However, if I have a sensitive dog, as I do right now actually, so for this sensitive dog, I had to change the factory setting on this, and I changed this to a mild dog. So stimulation number 1 will not be the same for a mild setting as it will be stimulation 1 for a medium or stubborn dog setting. So basically, if you have a stubborn dog, you adjust this to a stubborn dog. If you have a medium dog, you adjust this to a medium dog. If you have a very mild dog, a soft dog, you can adjust this to a soft dog, and that way level 1 will feel different in every single setting. So that's a really, really great thing that this company has done. Overall, my two favorite brands I would say are Dogtra and SportDog. I like Tritronics also. The only thing I don't like about Tritronics, however, is that you kind of if you have multiple dogs, you have to switch the toggle switch or the little setting to each particular dog. With this, however, if I wanted to add another dog, I can customize the controllers, so I have one one button for one dog and the other button for the other dog. So in other words, if I have two dogs out or even three dogs out, I can customize each button to each particular dog. With Tritronics, the only thing I don't like is that I would have to switch. Okay, so I have to go from one dog, I have to switch the little toggle switch to get that dog. But if I want to redirect my attention to the other dog, I have to make sure that I move the toggle switch to that other dog. And if I'm working with a third dog, then I have to make sure I redirect that setting to that particular dog. So I'm constantly having to adjust the toggle switch or the little setting, the little dial. Whereas with this, I can have three dogs out all at once, and I can control all three of them with the touch of each button. So